मच्चित्तः
सही एति पदवीं च मे
सहि पदवीं च मे
या इदं शृणुयादं वा
य इदं शृणुयादं वा
श्रद्धया पुरुषः सक्रे
श्रद्धया पुरुषः सकृ
को वा विद्यते मच्चित्त
यो वा विद्यते मच्चित्तः
स हि एति पदवीं च मे
सहि पदवीं च मे Anyone else? Mataji's want to recite? Ya idam shruyatam va Shraddhaya Shasakri Yogamvitate Machita Sareti Padavim Chami. Okay, so before okay, I'll just read the verse and purport quickly. Yah, he who, idam, this, shrunuyat, may hear, amba, O mother, shraddhaya, with faith, purusha, a person, sakrit, once, yah, he who, va, or, abhidhatte, repeats, machitaha, his mind fixed on me, saha, he certainly, eti, attains, padavim, abode, cha, and may, my. Translation: anyone who once meditates upon me in faith and affection, who hears and chants about me, surely goes back home, back to God. Since this doesn't have a purport, I will just read the next verse quickly. Maitreya Uvacha evam nishanya kapilasya vacho janitri sakartamasya daita kila deva hoti visrastamoha patala tamabhi pranamya tushtavattatva vishayamkida siddhi bhumim. Sri Maitreya said, thus Devavati, the mother of Lord Kapila, and the wife of Kadamuni, became free from all ignorance concerning devotional service and transcendental knowledge. She offered her obeisances unto the Lord, the author of the basic principles of the Sankhya system philosophy, which is the background of liberation, and she satisfied him with the following verses of prayer. Purport: Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The system of philosophy enunciated by Lord Kapila before his mother is the background for situation on a spiritual platform. The specific significance of this system philosophy is stated herein as Siddhi Bhumi. It is the background of salvation. People who are suffering in this material world because they are conditioned by the material energy can easily get freedom from the clutches of matter by understanding the Sankhya philosophy enunciated by Lord Kapila. By this system of philosophy, one can immediately become free, even though one is situated in this material world. This stage is called Jivan Mukti. This means that one is liberated even though one stays with his material body. That happened for Devahuti, the mother of Lord Kapila, and she therefore satisfied the Lord by offering her prayers. Anyone who understands the basic principle of Sankhya philosophy is elevated in devotional service and becomes fully Krishna conscious or liberated even within this material world. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savantam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Ram Krishna Vadam Sahaganalita Shri Vishakamitasha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Kesavo Gopikakanta Saptakanchana Gauraki Radhe Vrindaveshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalu pangulam gayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramanandam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara. So, I offer my humble obeisance to the lotus feet of all the devotees, led by Sri Kishore Prabhu, and completely unqualified. Actually, I was very reluctant to speak today because yeah, this is the day all the devotees come and Prabhuji with so much divinity, he actually nourishes their hearts. So please forgive me for committing this offense out of my false ego. So seek the blessings of everyone. And actually, I was just reflecting that actually, you see, in this temple, all the festivals are so wonderful, all the festivals are so glorious, and it's such an enlivening environment of Krishna consciousness bubbling with enthusiasm. So all the credit actually goes to His Guru Prabhu, and like even though we have so many devotees, like just to manage what he has given, it's not that easy. But he has created even an atmosphere for pure devotional service by his pure sound vibration, and he's also created many places. This is just one of the places he's done so. So ultimately, I mean, whatever I'm speaking is just his glories because if he had not come here, and if he had not put his hardened sweat and blood and his spiritual energy, because the most important aspect for growth of any community is not buildings, is not money, is not, is actually spiritual potency. So because of his spiritual potency, spiritual purity, and his elevated realizations, and the purity of his presence, that's why this temple has manifested. So it's all his glories. So I pray that I can serve him by speaking. Um, so Ananda Leela Maya Vigraha Hemavati Chandi Sundara Tasmai Mahaprema Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namaste. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Adbhuta, wonderfully merciful, wonderfully beautiful, wonderfully radiant, with the effulgence of molten gold, and that is the complexion of Srimad Radharani. So actually, Lord Chaitanya, we are reading this last verse that um, let me just go to the previous verse. So anyone who at once he surrenders or even takes darshan of the Supreme Lord, that person becomes fully successful. Anyone who once meditates upon me with faith and affection, who hears and chants about me, surely goes back home, back to God. So it is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that how that just by taking darshan of Lord Chaitanya, the darshan, one-time darshan of Lord Chaitanya is so wonderful, is so powerful, is so benedictory that Chaitanya Charitamrita says that you can immediately attain love of Krishna in the conjugal mellow. So it is so very so powerful. It's so powerful. Mm. So, if we just meditate on Lord Chaitanya, Katanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismite viparitam syat Sri Chaitanyam namami tvam. Chilanath Maharaj one time mentioned that if we simply memorize this verse, and we remember Lord Chaitanya, then all our obstacles will be destroyed. So we are all followers of Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamriyam Dadati Sapadantikam Addanastam Dante Idam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padam Roja Dhurisham Janma Janmani. So Raghunathas Goswami is praying to Rupa Goswami that Addanastam Dante Idam Yache Puna Puna, that my only desire is Dhuli Sham Janma Janmani, is to be a dust, a speck of dust at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, birth after birth after birth. So, uh, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sohito, Gaurade, Pushpavanto, Chitro, Shando, Tamonudo. Very important verse actually. And it's a very wonderful verse we can recite many times. We even pay obeisance to God Nitai, because we have separate mantras for Mahaprabhu Nityananda Prabhu, Shri Shri Radha, Krishna, Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is the verse actually glorifying both Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda at the same time. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Srodhito, Gaurade Pushpanto, Chitro Shando Tamonuto. So this says that how Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they are like the rising of millions of moons and suns at the same time. So yeah, so it's a very wonderful description. So Srila Prabhupada, who is the main personality who actually brought the mercy of Lord Chaitanya all over the world. Prabhupada actually personified Mahaprabhu's compassion. Prabhupada one time looked at his disciples and Srila Prabhupada said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached only in India, but see, I preached all over the world. What is your comment on that? All the disciples were flabbergasted, didn't know what to say. Then Prabhupada laughed and said, because of Mahaprabhu's empowerment, Mahaprabhu's mercy, Mahaprabhu empowered me to fulfill his desire of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. So Prabhupada said one time, one devotee told Prabhupada that Prabhupada, such and such devotee is not chanting his rounds, such and such devotee is not following the rules and regulations. Prabhupada said that tell him that if he does not change, then I will reject him. Then the devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, will you really reject him? Prabhupada said, no, I can never. And then Prabhupada said that even though I know that many devotees who are giving initiation, I'm empowering them, although I know that they may not be able to maintain their vows, I am helpless. What can I do? I came here for this purpose. So Srila Prabhupada personified the mood of Lord Chaitanya. He said that one devotee of Lord Chaitanya can deliver so many planets, so many planets of living entities. So, servant means someone who actually acquires the qualities of the master, and someone who actually establishes more than the master. That's what Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said servant is someone who actually does more than the master. On the behalf of the master, a servant achieves more and more and for the pleasure of the master, to glorify the master, to glorify the fact that the master's mission and movement is expanding. So it is mentioned that just by hearing Mahaprabhu's pastimes, His Holiness Bhakti Ashra Vaishnava Maharaj is mentioning one time that just by hearing Mahaprabhu's pastimes, all one's anxieties in this world will vanish. And what will happen? He will slowly and slowly, as he hears repeatedly, Prabhupada says in a purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he comments about the Mahabhava of Lord Chaitanya, that how it is very difficult to understand. But Prabhupada says that we have to hear again and again. Actually, His Holiness Devamrit Maharaj mentioned that, quoting Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada says, to understand Lord Chaitanya, to understand the parcel of Lord Chaitanya, only one has to do one thing. What is that? One has to hear again and again and again. So, by hearing again and again, Chaitanya Charitamrita states that one will come to understand, even if he does not intellectually understand, he will come to appreciate and he will come to realize the mellows of the pastimes of Lord Krishna and Vrindavan. And if he continues to hear, then eventually he will understand the loving dealings between Krishna and the damsels of Rajabhumi. So today we'll mainly be speaking about Mahaprabhu's teachings, because in order to please Lord Chaitanya, we have to apply his teachings in our life. So the main teaching of Mahaprabhu has many teachings, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the main teaching of Mahaprabhu is actually Sharanagati, surrender. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sagadharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. So Krishna says that you have to surrender to me only, one-pointedly. So Mahaprabhu also is propounding the same thing to the topmost degree. That's why only after understanding the glories of Krishna, understanding Srimad Bhagavatam, can one fully appreciate Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because why? Because the beginning of pure devotional service is surrender. So surrender is the main teaching of Mahaprabhu. So there are many associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who have taught what is surrender, what is surrender, what is submission. So since many devotees are in different positions in ashram or even in terms of advancement, Maharaj Prataparudra in Chaitanya Charitamrita is one of the shining examples of someone who got mercy from a very difficult position. Rupa Goswami says that two reasons why attaining love of God is very difficult. And the first reason is Rupa Goswami says that we are not qualified. And second reason is that Krishna is reluctant to give, because once Krishna gives that love of God, then Krishna becomes under the control of the devotee. Just like Mother Yashoda, she decides Krishna's schedule. So nowhere you see in Krishna book that Krishna becomes upset or angry that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, would like to wake up 2 hours later today. I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will not agree to be bound by that rope. So nowhere do we see that Krishna displays this kind of supremacy in front of the Rajvasis. Because why? Because Krishna has sold himself to them. So in this pastime, I'll just go briefly. In this pastime, uh, Maharaj Prataparudra, uh, Maharaj Prataparudra's position was a king, and Mahaprabhu came to this world to actually teach, to teach in all ways. Mahaprabhu in all ways is actually a shining example, and that's why Mahaprabhu took the position of a sannyasi. Although Mahaprabhu is neither a sannyasi nor any of these things, Mahaprabhu is beyond all the varnas and ashrams. Gopi Bhartu, Mahaprabhu says, Gopi Bhartu Padakam Leo Dasa Dasa Dasa. But at the same time, Mahaprabhu took the position of a sannyasi so that he can be a shining example to the whole world. It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that sannyasi alpa chitra sarva loka gai. That spot is like uh, the slightest mistake in the character of a sannyasi is sung by the whole world. It's a very heavy statement. So just like it's compared to like it's a white cloth. On a white cloth, fully white cloth, if there is even little ink, little dirt, it is very clearly visible. So in the same way, a sannyasi's character should be so spotless that nobody should find fault. So that's why Mahaprabhu took that position to actually showcase to the whole world what it means to practice devotional service. So anyhow, so in this pastime, Maharaj Prataparudra being in the position of a king, because he was a king, and Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, therefore Mahaprabhu was very reluctant to meet him, very reluctant to meet him. And Mahaprabhu was again and again denying that it's better for me. Mahaprabhu was saying it's better for me to take poison, it's better for me to do anything, but please don't ask me to meet this king. And you can imagine the position of Maharaj Prataparudra. Maharaj Prataparudra was very, very distraught, very, you can say, in a Krishna conscious way, he was very sad. So, from this position, we can learn by Maharaj Prataparudra's example that what is required to actually attain Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So, the first thing Maharaj Prataparudra exhibited. Two main qualities. The first quality is a very intense desire. Intense desire. And what is intense desire mean? Intense desire means Rupa Goswami gives the definition of love in one of the books. And Rupa Goswami says, love, real love is that which does not die, even in the most difficult situation. So real desire, intense desire is that desire which never dies despite the condition. So how did Maharaj Prataparudra cultivate this kind of intense desire? So the first thing Maharaj Prataparudra did is Maharaj Prataparudra, because many things he did. Maharaj Prataparudra, he actually deeply appreciated Ramananda Roy. When Ramananda Roy decided to surrender completely to Mahaprabhu, engage in his service, Maharaj Pratapata was very, very appreciative, very excited, very excited. So this is a very subtle point actually, that when you become very excited by someone else's success, someone else's receiving mercy, you become very excited. Wow, amazing. Then the mercy or the intensity of their love, their dedication to Guru and Krishna, it comes within your heart. So it's just like a tracing paper. So when you put a tracing paper on something and you start tracing, then you can see clearly that image. So in the same way, that is the power of appreciation. So he appreciated in a very enthusiastic and ecstatic way. And because of that, he also got that intense desire. And not only appreciated, but then he gave full pension. He gave full salary to Ramananda Roy. And because of that, Ramananda Roy went and told Mahaprabhu. He told Mahaprabhu about Maharaj Prataparudra's reaction. And Mahaprabhu was immediately touched by that. Wow, and Mahaprabhu said immediately that yes, Krishna will bestow his mercy on him because he's so dear to him. So actually, devotees, we should know that we get mercy by these fine Vaishnava qualities. These finer Vaishnava, we cannot imitate these Vaishnava qualities, these fine Vaishnava qualities that we get by high consciousness, by high consciousness. Um, like one time I saw it, this Ruksha Prabhu was actually one Prabhupada disciple came here some time ago, and he told something to Ruksha Prabhu, something, I mean something very insignificant. And Prabhuji was immediately became so excited and so happy that that devotee was telling him, Prabhupada Sir was telling him, and he became so happy, so ecstatic. And I saw that, I was so inspired. I was said, wow, this is the way to actually take guidance or take any kind of advice from senior devotees. So when we appreciate wholeheartedly, then immediately we get the enthusiasm of that person in our heart. And the second thing is he had unflinching faith in Sarvam Bhattacharya. So when Sarvam Bhattacharya told that he is the Supreme Personality of God, and immediately accepted, immediately accepted. So it's called simplicity. Um, Simplicity means putting unflinching faith. That's what simplicity means. Prabhupada defines faith as unflinching trust in something sublime. So um, Maharaj Pratap Rudra had unflinching faith in Sarvam Bhattacharya. So by these two ways, by appreciating devotees wholeheartedly and by putting unflinching faith in the senior devotees, in the words of senior devotees, in the words of the pure devotees, one cultivates intense desire. And that is the real thing. Like one devotee, very wonderful devotee, Suresh Prashant Mukund Prabhu, I was hearing recently, he was saying that in order to get mercy, in order to practice the process enthusiastically, what is required? This great lolyam. Lolyam ekam api mulyam. Ekam api mulyam means ekagrahachita, means one pointed attention, one pointed focus. Um, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. So by appreciating devotees who have gotten mercy and by putting unflinching faith in the words of Shiksha and Diksha Gurus, one cultivates this intense desire to attain the Supreme Lord. And once you get that intense desire is like a key that can actually open, can help us to actually get subsequent kind of mercy, subsequent kind of mercy. And this next thing he did is actually he did very humble service, very menial service. So the first thing which melted Mahaprabhu's heart, even though Mahaprabhu may not have said externally what that Maharaj Pratap Rudra during the time when Jagannath's Puri festival, Jagannath Rath Yatra was happening, even though he was a king, he swept the road. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patakami Bhavatumi. So, on the pathway on which Jagannath's eyes glance was going, he swept that road, he swept that path, and seeing that Mahaprabhu was so pleased, so pleased. And next, even though Maharaj Prataparudra did not receive direct audience of Mahaprabhu, he was very enthusiastic to serve all the devotees. He arranged for Mahaprabhu's stay, he arranged for all the devotees, served all the devotees so wonderfully. He had such unflinching faith in the devotees of Mahaprabhu. And he considered in a very humble way that, oh, they're so exalted, I'm not qualified, I'm not qualified. So one time when Shivas Thakur was dancing, he was looking at the ecstatic dancing of Mahaprabhu in the Rath Yatra, and he was dancing. And one devotee, I forget the name, was Hari? I can't remember. Harichandra. Yeah, so this devotee, he was kind of obstructing Shivas Thakur's dancing. And so Shivas Thakur became, because he was in deep internal consciousness, and in that deep internal consciousness, he mildly, he slapped this devotee out of his, because he was so absorbed and of course, we should not bring this to a material platform. So as soon as this devotee got that slap from Srivas Thakur, immediately he became very angry and he wanted to attack Srivas Thakur. Immediately, Maharaj Prataparudra stopped him and told him, "Wow, you're so fortunate. You're so fortunate to be touched by this pure devotee of the Lord." So in this way, he won the mercy of Mahaprabhu, and he was actually able to see by Mahaprabhu's divine mercy how Mahaprabhu was present simultaneously in all the 7 groups, in 7 parties, dancing simultaneously in the Rath Yatra. And in this way, without giving up his enthusiasm, he was doing so much humble menial service without any expectation, But at the same time, he maintained a deep desire in his heart to get the audience of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a very important point that one desire we should cultivate, we should maintain, we should have is that we should be very eager to get the audience of the Lord, to get the audience of Guru internally. Because in order to give up the desire for name and fame, because that is my spiritual master was saying in the lecture that is the way in which all the desires enter. The root of everything is the desire for name and fame. So the only way to give up this desire is to desire to be appreciated, recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And not externally but internally by taste in Krishna consciousness. So when we have this intense desire to actually give pleasure for our service to be accepted by Krishna, like you see that the difference, if we have some mercy of exalted devotees, we can see what is the difference between someone rendering service which is accepted by Krishna and someone who is rendering service which is not really accepted by Krishna, which may not be so much accepted. Uh, like for example, like is mentioning, Jagrupa was mentioning that Jayapataka Maharaj, when he came some time ago, he came to Michigan and he took darshan of the deities in Detroit, in the Detroit temple. So he was mentioning that he never saw the deities were so happy, so smiling. Right? So we all speak about taking darshan. What it means to take darshan is to actually come before the Lord and humble ourselves, begging for his shelter and protection. So this is an example of service which is rendered by a devotee, which is accepted by the Lord. So when it's accepted by the Lord, then even the slightest service, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Even the slightest thing you offer, Yomi Bhaktya Prachate, Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsam. That when that smallest service is done, what happens is the bhakti energy, the bhakti bhav actually is inundated, is awakened in the heart of all the devotees present. Like just now also we observed and soon he started dancing, started chanting. You see, like how that Krishna Mahaprabhu, they're accepting his offering, right? So this is what we should aspire, that our service is accepted by Guru and Krishna, is accepted, and internally we get reciprocation. So, and ultimately, by this humble service and this unflinching faith, eventually he got the intimate service of massaging Lord Chaitanya and singing Gopi Gita, which is very rare, very rare. From nowhere, you see, if you see his position, from nowhere, see where he attained. So this shows that what is required to actually attain Mahaprabhu's mercy. So Mahaprabhu's process is very simple process, very simple. Like A.V.S. Bhagavad says so many times that even bhakti is such a wonderful process. Even if you go blindfolded walking, you will attain success. Why? Because Mahaprabhu's mercy is dependent on 2 reasons only. The first reason is humility, and second is simplicity. If someone has humility and simplicity, he maintains these qualities, at any cost, he will get Mahaprabhu's ultimate grace, which is attaining love of God. So this is the only thing that actually he actually Maharaj Pratapudra and so many devotees they demonstrated. So many devotees demonstrated. So the first thing is the humility. So now we'll speak about Mahaprabhu's qualities, how Mahaprabhu exemplified these qualities. Because Mahaprabhu, as I said, he's teaching, he's a practical teacher. Krishna spoke theoretically Bhagavad Gita, but Mahaprabhu, the same Krishna, came to actually teach the process by his own personal example. So Mahaprabhu, um, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya carried Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he thought that Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi and he's chanting and dancing, so young, so beautiful. If he does not hear Siddhanta, then Mahaprabhu may not be able to maintain his sannyas in a very kind of simple way. He was thinking like this. Although, yes, it is true that he was ignorant, but he was simple. He was simple. So Mahaprabhu also, in response, Mahaprabhu heard Sambhava Bhattacharya for 7 days. And Mahaprabhu, after that, he corrected him. He corrected him. And he corrected him in such a way, because Sarvabhaumacharya was so simple, Mahaprabhu actually gave him his full mercy after the 7 days and gave him the divine darshan of Ashadbhuj Gauranga. We see the picture in the back of our temple. So, in the six-handed form of Lord Chaitanya. And another example where Mahaprabhu exhibited so much humility is in the case of Prakashananda Saraswati, who later became Prabhupada Saraswati. So Prakashananda Saraswati, which is thousands of sannyasis, was discussing Siddhantas, discussing philosophy. And what did Mahaprabhu do? Mahaprabhu sat at the place where they washed their feet. And there Mahaprabhu exhibited his effulgence, his love of God. So Mahaprabhu used that technique to actually melt the heart. So these are two very wonderful examples of how by humility we can prepare the ground, prepare the fertile ground for enthusiasm. If we want enthusiasm in Bhakti, we want to always be enthusiastic, then we have to practice this humility. Triyad api sunichena taror eva sahishna, taror api sahishna, amanina manina kirtaniya sadahari. So kirtaniya sadahari does not mean only chanting the holy name exclusively, but any anga of bhakti, if you want to do sada, uh, if you want to do constantly with absorption, then this is the price. That to be humbler than a blade of grass, to be more tolerant than a tree, to give respect to everyone and to expect none in return. Ramchandra Puri criticized Lord Chaitanya for eating so much prasadam. And Ramchandra Puri criticized Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, you're eating so much sweets. That's why there's so many ants in your room. So Mahaprabhu did not, even though he's the Supreme Lord, he did not become angry or upset. Right? He took a humble position, even though there was no need for him to. And even though by taking a humble position, that didn't change the heart of Ramchandra Puri, still Mahaprabhu exhibited that humility. And Mahaprabhu said, yes, now I will reduce my eating by half. I am a sannyasi, I cannot eat like this. So Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still Mahaprabhu exhibited this humility. Like we hear that how Krishna washed the lotus feet, washed the feet of all the devotees in the Rajasuya Yajna. So in the same way, Mahaprabhu did that again and again and again and again and again. So there's a constant competition between Mahaprabhu and his devotees. Mahaprabhu is constantly trying to humble himself before his devotees. His devotees are constantly trying to humble themselves before Mahaprabhu. Like how Mahaprabhu would tell Rup and Sanatan, my heart is breaking, my heart is cracking, seeing your humility. And even after saying, please give up this humility, still Rup and Sanatan Goswami, one time when Mahaprabhu called him, Sanatan Goswami, because he considered himself so fallen. Mahaprabhu, Sanatan Goswami chose to walk through the sandy, hot, blazing sand beach and he got blisters all over his body. And Mahaprabhu said, why you do like this? Well, I'm not qualified. So in this way, Mahaprabhu's humility is conquering the heart of his devotees and his devotees' humility is conquering the heart of Mahaprabhu. So this is Mahaprabhu's process of humility, very meek and humble, meek and humble. So when we become humble also, another thing happens is we become very grateful, become very grateful. Like Haridas Thakur is another example. How Haridas Thakur, even though he was standing 192 rounds, the Namacharya, when Mahaprabhu would call him to come into Gambhira, and he said, "No, I'm not qualified, I'm not qualified." And devotees, even though devotees, although they are pure devotees, they, perhaps they may not have been chanting as much as Haridas Thakur. Still, Haridas Thakur would roll in their dust. As soon as they would come out of Gambhira, Haridas Thakur would roll in their dust, saying that, I'm not qualified, I'm not qualified. And also Mahaprabhu himself, we speak about familiarity, that how when Ramananda Roy and Sarat Damodar, if they would not come even for one day to Gambhira, Mahaprabhu would bitterly lament, bitterly lament. Uh, so this way Mahaprabhu and his devotees exhibited that intense humility, very intense humility. And then the next quality is simplicity. Simplicity. Mahaprabhu is so simple. Like you see, Mahaprabhu, after he took sannyas, Nityananda Prabhu misdirected Mahaprabhu, and when Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan, Nityananda Prabhu tricked him and brought him back to the association of all the Navadvipasis. So Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord. He could have, exercised his supremacy and says, Nityananda, what are you doing? But no, Mahaprabhu exhibited this simplicity, this mood of a servant of the servant of the servant. And he just did what they said. He did what they said. So many times you see in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, devotees ask Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu stay some more time, Mahaprabhu stay one more, some more time. And Mahaprabhu obliged. Even though externally he may have appeared to be very upset, but Mahaprabhu obliged. And you see in Mahaprakash Leela that how Mahaprabhu appreciated so many devotees. Like especially Kolavechar Sridhar, Mahaprabhu's Leela with Kolavechar Sridhar shows how simple is Mahaprabhu, how easy it is to approach Mahaprabhu. That Kolavechar Sridhar's dealing with Mahaprabhu shows that how it's so easy to approach him. The only thing we need is we need simplicity. It's like simple like a child, simple like a child. If you have this simplicity and honesty, then you can achieve anything in spiritual life. Shivas Thakur. Shivas Thakur is a householder. He has children. He has a wife. And because Shivas Thakur is so simple, he put unflinching faith in Mahaprabhu. When Shivas Thakur's son, he died, what did Shivas Thakur do? Shivas Thakur was so simple. He said that, see, the Lord, the Supreme Lord is performing Kirtan. What could be more auspicious? And so he told his wife that to not cry loudly, to hide their emotion. Why? Because Mahaprabhu's ecstasy would be interrupted. Mahaprabhu asked Srivas, did anything happen? Did anything? No, Mahaprabhu, everything in your association, everything is supremely auspicious, everything is supremely wonderful. Supremely wonderful. And by after some time, Mahaprabhu came to hear from the devotees what happened. Mahaprabhu said, Shivas Thakur, your family is my family. Me and Nityananda are your children. And he said, even if Lakshmi Devi, even if she goes bankrupt, still Shivas will have no problem. Will have no problem. So this house shows when devotees are so simple, they practice honestly their devotional service from wherever they are. They will get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Because Guru Prabhu says that how Mahaprabhu, whoever is strict to their ashram, Mahaprabhu is so merciful. When Shivananda Sen had a child, Mahaprabhu gave gifts and Mahaprabhu was so pleased. And at the same time, when Raghunathas Goswami is practicing such strict austerities, Mahaprabhu was so pleased. So Mahaprabhu, as long as someone follows their ashram, follows their situation very strictly, Mahaprabhu gives mercy. So if someone, in summary, if someone has simplicity and humility, then he can put unflinching faith. And if he put unflinching faith, what will happen? He will become very enthusiastic. Like if he puts unflinching faith in the statement that by having one time darshan of Mahaprabhu, we can attain love of God. then he'll become very excited and wow, amazing, amazing. And then as a result of that enthusiasm, by Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda's mercy, he will get very strong sangha, sadhu sangha. Because why? Because he is very enthusiastic. He has a lot of faith, and then from that sangha will come very strong determination. So the only thing which is required actually for us to actually get this very strong determination, progress very quickly in this path of bhakti, is these qualities of simplicity and humility. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that three things, three practices of devotees actually result in all the anarthas, the gross and subtle anarthas. So the three things. First, it says doubt. Doubtful. So how does doubt come about? Doubt comes when we don't speak the words of pure devotees, the words of Shastra. So then doubtful comes. We become doubtful. We become doubtful, and as a result of that, what happens? The next stage, Saraswati Thakur says, is idle talk. So once we don't quote Shastra and pure devotees, we start speculating, then we indulge in idle talk. And then if idle talk keeps going, the third thing Saraswati Thakur says is blasphemy, aparadh. So these three things actually is what destroys our spiritual life. Because actually, the real destroyer of our spiritual life, even though we may have so many anarthas, gross and subtle anarthas, is when our enthusiasm goes down. So enthusiasm goes down because of these three things. Even if you have so many anarthas, but if you have enthusiasm, you can conquer any anartha. You can conquer any anartha. Because enthusiasm will help us to, whenever we are low, whenever we are weak, to take shelter of situations and of devotees who are not weak, who are not doubtful. Right? So these three things are Sri Thakur says. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Charitamrita Leela is so important, and Saraswati Thakur says it is the best, one of the best ways of associating with pure devotees. So, I mean, that is my practical, if anytime you feel low in bhakti, anytime you feel, if you just open and read Chaitanya Charitamrita, maybe a few verses or one chapter, immediately you get your enthusiasm back. Why? Because every activity, every word is describing the activities of pure devotees, and not just pure devotees, but, to the extreme, the most extreme level of pure devotion. Like Madhavendra Puri, just opening and reading, and Madhavendra Puri, that to what extent Madhavendra Puri went to actually get Chandan for Gopal, and how much enthusiasm. Charitamrita not only describes what devotees did, but how devotees did, with what mood they did. That's why it's so nourishing for our devotion, so nourishing for our practice of devotional service. And the last thing is Chaitanya Charitamrita emphasizes the importance of practicing bhakti within the community of devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "Ekaki amar nahi pahi bal Harinam Sankirtan." That alone I don't have the power. So Mahaprabhu's teaching is that we have to practice bhakti in the community of devotees. Why is that? It's because by practicing bhakti in a community of devotees, we conquer, we fight against Kali. Now, what are the two symptoms of Kali? Is quarrel and hypocrisy. Right? So when we successfully live in a community of devotees and can defeat these two things of quarrel and hypocrisy, then we can defeat Kali internally. And how does Kali disturb us internally? By making us break the regulative principles on the mental platform. So the thing is that the four regulative principles, of course, grossly as devotees or practicing devotees, we are careful not to break, but on the mental platform, to be very strict in one's, brahmacharya, in one's different practices on the mental platform, um, for us to become pure, because only when the mind becomes pure, then the tendency to think of Krishna and Krishna's service will come. So For us to do that, we need the blessings of devotees. We need the mercy of devotees. So when devotees become pleased with us externally, when we cooperate, when we take a humble position, then they bless us by helping us to defeat the enemies of the mind, lust, anger, greed. So as long as we are fighting, we are sincerely trying to fight against the internal enemies, we get Mahaprabhu's mercy. Like best example is the Brahmana was drinking milk. So the Brahmana was actually drinking milk. Mahaprabhu chastised him. That do you think drinking milk is the only qualification to get love of God? But that devotee internally immediately changed his mood. And he realized that yes, I'm not qualified. And he became very grateful. So because of that, Mahaprabhu became very pleased with it. So Mahaprabhu is not demanding us to be fully pure. Mahaprabhu is only thing wants us to be very honest, very humble, and very simple. Like this case, Lord Prabhu mentioned that just if you do two things, then we will attain the ultimate perfection, and that is if we chant the holy name and we don't offend devotees. So we will attain the ultimate perfection. We'll get Mahaprabhu's mercy. Right? So that's why, although it may be very difficult, sometimes we may think that when we're living with devotees, it's difficult to cooperate, difficult to adjust. But actually, it's not them who are the problem. It is actually internal problem, which is manifesting externally by the situation. But if we try our best to cooperate, to tolerate, to become humble, and to give respect to others, then what will happen is that we will get the force to actually fight against our internal battle, internal anarthas. And what is the biggest problem, internal problem, is to associate with the mind. That is the biggest problem. And so we have so many avenues to not associate with the mind, to associate with Shastra, to associate with pure sound vibration. So Dadami Buddhyogam, to get the inspiration from Mahaprabhu, from Krishna to do this, we have to um, we have to cooperate with devotees. And although it may seem very external, it may not seem anything tangible, but actually we're getting a lot of strength from the association of devotees. And that's why all our acharyas practiced bhakti in the association of devotees, at least to some larger or smaller extent. Especially Srila Prabhupada stressed without being in the association of devotees, uh, practicing bhakti is very, very difficult. So, this is Mahaprabhu's great teaching. What is Mahaprabhu's society? How can we glorify Mahaprabhu? Of course, by practicing strict sadhana, by doing very enthusiastic service, but also by trying to create a society where there is no envy. So, by not acting on envy, by not acting on envy, uh, we can try to create a society which is free from envy. And that is the difference between spiritual community and material community. Material community is where there is envy everywhere, but in spiritual community there is no envy. Uh, Rather, spiritual community is when we want everyone to become better than us. We want to promote everyone, not that we want to become self-derogatory, or we want to be very small and we want to be inactive, but we want to progress, but we also want others to progress more than us. We want others to become better than us. So Prabhupada exemplified this before he started his call by encouraging, by trying to involve all his god brothers or some of his god brothers in this mission. But finally, somehow it was not happening. That's why Prabhupada very hesitatingly took the position of founder Acharya for the benefit of humanity at large. So when we can cooperate and we can maintain a humble mood, of course, please forgive me. Today I spoke so many things that I myself don't practice. I don't do, but hopefully by all of your mercy I can do. But this is Mahaprabhu's community, society, where we create a society where there is no envy, there is no politics, there is no duplicity. Very simple, very humble community which enthuses, which encourages, which inspires pure devotion. So this is Mahaprabhu's community. This is Mahaprabhu's teaching to us. And this is how we can please Mahaprabhu by following this kind of mood. And that's why bhakti is very simple, very simple. Um, sometimes we hear that if you do so many things to attain mercy, to do some things to attain grace, but actually no. Krishna, Mahaprabhu is not looking at how much we are doing, but Mahaprabhu is just looking the quality of what we are doing. And these two qualities Mahaprabhu sees, Mahaprabhu will definitely give us ultimate perfection. I mean, so many devotees have, testified to this, like Mother Kulangana, who is actually who went back to Godhead. She was in Bhaktivedanta manner. She was just making sandesh for different varieties of sandesh for Radha Gokulananda. It's it. I mean, and in the final days of our life, like one time my spiritual master was speaking to her on phone, and I could hear the recording. She is in, oh, you're seeing Krishna. He said, yes, Maharaj, I'm seeing Krishna. And the way she was speaking was like she was so ecstatic, even though she was in such a compromised health condition. So this is the only thing Mahaprabhu sees, that to be very simple and very humble, and eventually many times we may think, how do we get this quality? How can we, preach to others? How can we chant the pure name? How? But this is the simple solution. And anyone else may not be watching, but Mahaprabhu is definitely watching. Mahaprabhu is always looking to bestow mercy. So this is the only thing we need to do, and we will attain the ultimate perfection. So this is what I wanted to speak today. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong, inappropriate. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any question or comment? Prabhuji would like to add anything? Okay, nobody has any question or comment? Yes, online, anyone has any question or comment? Doubt, idle talk, and blasphemy. And blasphemy. Anyone online has any question? Yes. Doubt, idle talk, and blasphemy. Actually, Saraswati Thakur, I think Madhavendra Prabhu actually quoted Saraswati Thakur, reading an article from Saraswati Thakur about rules for living in the temple. Very heavy article. It's blasphemy. Anyone? Sorry?
It's progressive. Isn't it? How is it?
Hmm. Anyone online has any question or comment? Yes, please. Yeah, well, you know better than me. But yeah, Guruji, I mean, only by devotees' mercy can we glorify them genuinely when we see their wonderful Vaishnava qualities. So when we appreciate their Vaishnava qualities, we see the Vaishnava qualities, and we experience them, and we experience their mercy, and we take a humble position before them, and we can experience their mercy in our life, then we can actually glorify them. So, yeah. And I mean, I'm speaking beyond my realization, but yes, when we, in our own heart, when we don't have the tendency to criticize others, uh, then um, when we practice internally, not just externally, but internally, to not find fault with others, like so the mind find faults with someone, and we internally practice to no, we convince the mind that this is wrong, and we beg forgiveness internally, and we cultivate this tendency of not criticizing others, then we can appreciate their qualities. Yeah, I mean uh, both Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhaktilata Beach. So we need to please both Guru and Krishna. Um, Pleasing devotees, glorifying devotees gives pleasure to Krishna, and glorifying Krishna gives pleasure to his devotees. But Lord Shiva says that yes, glorifying devotees is more is more beneficial to us, and practically also is more accessible and more practical to us. So yes, glorifying devotees is very important, but at the same time, um, also when we the best way to actually glorify devotees is to pray for them. So that's actually the best way to glorify devotees. When you see some devotee doing some amazing service, yes, glorifying is good, but the best thing to do is to pray for them, to pray to Guru and Krishna, that Krishna, see, so exalted, so wonderful. Please, Krishna, I pray that, like you can say, I dedicate the seva to them, or I pray that they become more and more advanced. Please, Krishna, please, So okay, that's the basic in front of Krishna. Yeah, so this particular instruction is in front of Guru and Krishna. It's mentioned in front of Guru also. In front of Guru also, we should only glorify Guru. So the reason why this is being mentioned is because um, the problem is that if we glorify, then sometimes we have the tendency to find out the fault also. So, because actually, what is glorification? Real glorification means you're coming close to a devotee. So, when you come close to a devotee, I mean, of course, I'm not speaking about senior devotees. Senior you will glorify always, but especially equals and those who are taking guidance. If you come close to them, means you will help them also. Which means where you see defects, you will point out also in a humble way. Because if you don't point out defects at all, you only glorify, that is in one way cheating. Because suppose that devotee is struggling or he needs help somewhere, if devotee is putting faith in you and you're not helping them, means you're cheating them. You're cheating. So that's why in front of Guru and Krishna, especially in front of Guru and Krishna, in front of Krishna means in front of Prabhupada, because Guru, Krishna, and even senior devotees, because they are more competent, they are more advanced to actually help devotees, uh, to correct or to glorify. So therefore, um, ideally, we should not glorify or we should not criticize. But at the same time, we do also in our society, carefully, we do also, like in front of Guru, sometimes we will glorify a devotee, even in front of Krishna, sometimes we may glorify a devotee. But the essential thing in this case is the mood. The mood is very important. The mood is very important. And genuinely wishing well for the devotees is very, very important. So as long as we have the right mood, Krishna will protect us. So like Bhagavatam also says that we should not glorify, we should not criticize. But Bhagavatam is saying, but what is Chaitanya Charitamrita saying? Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying that with the same mouth that you blaspheme devotees, with that same mouth, if you glorify devotees, then the heart will become purified. So yes, Mahaprabhu's mood is in Mahaprabhu's movement. What CC says, Chaitanya says that yes, out of respect, we may not do, but yes, by glorifying we make advancement. By appreciating we make a lot of advancement. So when something wonderful happens, we should not hesitate to glorify. We should not hesitate to appreciate in a proper way. Okay, anyone has any question or comments online? Okay, nobody has any question or comment online. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong, inappropriate. Vancha kalpatarobhyascha. Vipasana devacha paritana pavani Vaishnava. Antakoti Vaishnava Shila Prabhupada ki jai.